He's trying to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Let him be, okay?
Yeah, I knew that fucking bullshit strumming that she was doing with those gloves on. That she wasn't playing that.
Dude, listen, I
Capo on the
cannot
first fret.
wait.
Capo on the first fret. Right? Yeah, she played a G and what the fuck is that?
I guess you can't talk about guitars.
I can't talk about anything, you Michigan fucking fag.
English, motherfucker, do you speak?
All she did was she swapped between like the G and like the bullshit C.
Yeah, she was like C sustain C G.
Yeah.
But with a capo. I'm like, what are you doing?
Dude, why do you need that?
Yeah, it's just like, and you got gigantic gloves on with two knuckles sticking out.
There's no reason to put a capo on the first fret. Like minimum, a capo goes on the second fret. Minimum.
Yeah, I mean, there is no more pleasant sound of like a whole song that's really capoed at the F. The F chord is such a pleasant chord to center your fucking song around.
Right.
I love your filter because it looks like you're talking up like a skunk's ass.
No,
the trouble with tribbles,
dude. I'm gonna get a Furby computer face, or a Furby. I'm gonna rip his face out. I'm gonna put him right here, so it's look like my microphone's a Furby.
Go for it, man.
Well, it was really for the telescopic, microphone that you have, right? And because I didn't want it to look exactly like your mic, So, because this is really long, that's why it's all bunched up. Look how long this bitch is. See, but look, now it's all.
Oh, leave it. Yeah, that's much better.
Even better.
It's all poofy. I like it.
True representation right there.
Fuck yeah, huge and limp.
Squirrel.
No, there we go. Yeah, there, Jansen. Hey guys, podcast.
Can't even see your face the whole show.
Yeah, I'm a fucking Wilson from fucking.
You and I should go live, or do we have things that we got to talk about first?
I'm the Wilson of podcasting now.
I think we're good, right?
Okay.
Yo, check it out, guys. I got my Beats Studio 3s.
Oh, he's fancy boy now.
Fuck yeah.
Did you get your Chinese knockoffs?
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
The new Ash show is hysterical.
How much were those on Wish, bro?
It was $1.86, $6 shipping, but I had 600 points from the 2 vibrators. I got Missy, and
I'd like to think he's joking, but he's probably not.
No, he's not.
One red and one blue for the dark side and the light side of the force.
Always blue. I don't know why.
I would never buy a dildo off Wish.
She likes that.
Can you imagine?
Saving
You
money.
would never buy a dildo off Wish.
If I were to buy a dildo,
off Wish too, man.
Who hasn't bought a dildo? But you don't buy it off Wish.
Yeah. Well, where do you
never bought a dildo, Phoenix.
Dude,
Phoenix bought a dildo for the specific purpose of pulling a dent.
She wanted a dent out of her car, so she went and bought a dildo. And I used it to pull the dent out of the car.
It's one of those that like suction cups to the ground.
That's some strong suction, dude.
No. It wasn't a dildo. It was one of those, you can stick it anywhere type Johns, and Phoenix shoves his cock in it, and it like sucks it like automatically. Like, not that I have one coming soon, but so I know all about it.
Okay.
Man, this wholesome content.
Anyway, welcome to the live show, people.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
and if you're tuning into me, by the way,
this is the shit you're not going to get on Tom Elliott's channel.
Yeah, we are live. Yeah.
Oh fuck! I mean, oh.
Remember that part where I said, "Is it okay if I go live? Are we ready yet, or do we need to talk about stuff?"
Oh, flippity floop!
And then you just went off on a tirade about dildos and dents.
No, it's important.
You're right. It is.
Anyway,
important things to matter.
Are we ready to start talking about the Who of You?
I have one quick little announcement. I have not put any content out the last couple of days because I've been fighting noise pollution in my neighborhood. So I apologize. There'll be a barrage of content coming out later in the week for people to watch my channel. Okay, now.
What statue do you live near?
What's that?
What statue do you live near?
Statue.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah, you lost me.
I think he's
He's
thinking
talking
that
about all
someone
the statues that keep getting pulled down.
someone pulled down your Confederate statue near you in Florida.
No. Power washing for 8 hours, followed by landscapers and
At 9 a.m. Oh my God.
hammering and bandsaws.
forbid.
Yeah, well, during the times when I normally record
During
shit.
normal people work and shit.
Trying to say I'm not normal.
Doesn't say
I work. I record
If
shit.
it was 7 a.m., I could see you having a gripe, but 9 a.m., you don't have a leg to stand on there.
I don't think he's complaining. He's just explaining.
I'm just explaining.
It's hard to tell.
I didn't go to jail today, so I mean, I exercised all kinds of restraint, and I understood the plight that was put in front of me. Yeah.
Attacked the guy with his own blower.
Not yet.
Nice word though. Plight. So far, it is the word of the day. I'm sure it'll get
It'll get spicier as the night goes on.
Oh,
But also, I want to
You're already
apologize
trying to
if I'm
test
operating
yourself.
at 25%. It's because I haven't had any sleep in like 3
Voice
days.
crack.
So
Yep, 25%.
so he's 5% more than we ever saw him. This is going to be
Yep.
great.
Oh god. I got a word of the day.
What's up?
Shut up, Frank.
That's 3 words.
Nah, it's one today.
Okay, that makes no sense.
And by the way, if you're following, you can buy the official "Shut Up Frank" T-shirt on LIWstudios.com.
No. I did not sign off on a shirt with my fucking head on it.
Not
So
yet.
fucking sue us, dude.
When you find out how much it sells, you might think otherwise.
I want 100% proceeds to go to my favorite charity.
No,
My bank
this
account.
is all for charity. It's for a good cause, Frank. Yeah, all the money goes to the production of LIW Studios.
Stop buying dildos.
I need money.
It goes right into Frank's annual
the money
dildo
goes-
budget.
all the money goes to research and technology and developing sound bites.
And poofs.
Yeah.
All right, let's start.
Go.
Hello citizens, welcome to LIW The Twilight Zone review. I'm the sexy Phoenix West, joined by Frank Lynx, Adam Wilcox and Jansen Carlin. This is episode 178 of the podcast and episode 3 of season 2 of the Twitter Zone. The episode is titled The Who of You. It debuted June 25th, 2020. Let our stupid podcast begin in 3, 2, 1. Take it away, assholes.
You're traveling through
Fuck
another
you,
dimension,
whore.
a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, dark territory.
I know she's not deaf or dumb or retarded or anything.
Bordering in Wonderland, the Twilight Zone review.
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Frank?
Not plugged in. Chill.
Frank.
Frank.
Ah.
This is a professional show. We will act accordingly.
All right, we're scrapping it for tonight.
I'm just gonna start the intro. As the robot announced, the Who of You.
Sorry. I forgot to plug it in.
Down, everybody down. All right. Okay, stay calm. We'll all go home tonight. Everybody calm down. Okay. All right. That's right. Give me the bat. Give me the bat. That's me. That's me.
Sorry,
He's
guys.
Harry Pine.
Thank you.
Up until now, he's failed to realize that he's not the center of the world. But, as you can see, he's also not entirely himself at the moment. Harry's mind is an uninvited guest in an unfamiliar body. He's about to go on a journey of self-discovery, the kind that's only possible here in the Twilight Zone.
All right, that was interesting. We're here.
Yeah.
We're talking. No, you're fine. The Who of You. How do we want to start today? Because today is kind of a unique episode where I don't have a single negative thing to say about it, and I'm in a weird spot. What do we do?
I loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's my favorite episode so far.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Jason? Oh my God.
Do we all agree?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I've seen all of Twilight Zone, the new Twilight Zone in its entirety. I watched season 2 first, followed by season 1, and this episode so far is my favorite out of everything that I've seen.
All
It
right,
feels like like classic Twilight Zone. It gives me hope.
Cool. So I guess the only thing left to do is
Plug time. Jensen wishes to plug.
Oh, so I guess we should. I just looked at the clock. We have only gone a couple minutes. Yeah, Adam, I completely agree. On Twitter, on LIW the TZ Review Twitter, I did a 2019-2020 poll, and the winner was Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which was my favorite episode so far. This one, I real close for me. I don't know. Maybe this one.
This one was better. There's some reasons why.
I still like Nightmare at 30,000 Feet better, only because it resonates more for me. But this one was top notch.
This one was pure Twilight Zone. Adam, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it is. Now the name of the actor again, one more time. That's the main guy that you want to fellatio there.
Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry. This is like one of those roles that actors live for, and I think what I like about it is this is an episode about actors pretending to be somebody else by actually being somebody else and playing multiple roles at the same time. It's like actors live for this shit.
Which should have been really cheesy. It should have that premise alone, the fact that he's an actor should have been like too over the top. You're like, I get it, he's an actor. He literally has to be other people. But it works. They make it work, and I didn't really second guess it.
I didn't predict anything. I was surprised at every turn.
Okay, fine. You guys stop talking.
So then the episode. Oh, sorry.
No, the reason why I'm saying
Dragons Radio.
Yep. .com. By the way, DX.Mega wanted to thank Jansen for plugging his website so much lately.
Oh, nice.
Yep. But by the way, so
Jansen's muted, by the way.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm here.
Anyway,
welcome.
Okay, so the reason why I think this is the best one so far is I had no idea where this was going right up to the end, and then I thought the reveal of what the secret was great. That's not giving anything away too much too soon, and great twist. It was and it's what I always say about the Twilight Zone. Rod Serling was a madman nutcase with his writing. If you would just read it like not an actor, but it's the actors who brought his nutbag scripts to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with some of the greatest episodes, if you take them at face value and take the acting away, this is ramblings of a madman. But
we certainly are hearing that right now. Yes.
Huh?
No.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Let the man say his piece.
Right. So, like this guy, great acting, how, he was Lance instead of Lance. I don't know why he was Lance. And whenever somebody heard Lance, they immediately didn't say Lance. I thought that was strange.
But I think they might have been alluding to he was a pretentious actor.
Fair enough.
Are you talking about Officer Luntz?
Was it Luntz?
Yeah, his name is Luntz.
Oh, I just thought.
Luntz is the name of the cop.
Yeah,
I thought he was just weird.
No,
great, Adam. Love that. I always say it. Sorry, but anyway, but yeah, like the acting of this episode basically made it great. I thought Like this episode could have been dog shit if the acting was bad.
Yeah, the last season. So let's compare it to season 1. Episode 1, episode 2, I really enjoyed. Adam, you didn't like the comedian, but I liked the comedian. I really liked 30,000 Feet. And then we get to Replay, which I thought was an episode that could have went good, but they just went a little too on the nose for it. Well, way too on the nose for it, let's be honest. And this was the benchmark I was at here. I go, 3rd episode in, let's see if they start putting in their Twitter zone bullshit. And then they do this, and I'm like, oh, this is my favorite one so far. And I felt like I was wrong. So I'm sitting there watching it like, no, it's gonna fall apart here soon. And I'm like, oh no, I still enjoy it. And it gets to the end, I'm like, oh, I enjoyed the whole thing. That was weird.
Yeah, and it actually has a good ending, and you're like, what?
Yeah, 3 for 3.
Well, that's why I'm glad I started season 2, because I wanted to turn off this bullshit after like the first episode and a half, and I'm like, oh, this is just really not good. And then I watched this one, I'm like, oh, did I just actually like something new? Am I no longer a boomer now? I'm enjoying new shit. You know, it was well written, well acted, fun. Didn't take itself too seriously. It was kind of slightly self-aware. It had a little bit of a message, but also kept going.
Yeah, exactly. Jansen's gonna take off for a minute here. He has some computer problems. If you're looking at my side here, unfortunately, I have to stream the whole page, so you'll see Jansen's chat on the right. But yeah, this episode, I thought I liked the first episode the best. I was like, we're not gonna get any better than that. This is gonna be the benchmark. And episode 2 came out, and I was like, that's good, not great. And then this one, I was like, holy shit, is the whole season gonna be good? And then we got to episode 4, which we'll talk about next. But let's stay with this one.
Let's just stay with this one as
Yeah.
long as we possibly
live
can.
here as long as we can. Let's go through the plot.
You got something here, just more of it, please.
Yeah, exactly. Ethan Embry, who I've been like obsessed with since I was a kid, because he's in a movie called Dutch. Which yeah, I'd suck his dick. And,
that was him.
Yeah, that was little. It was he had a different last name when he was a kid actor. I forget what it was, but
he was such a dick when he was a kid.
Yeah, I loved it. But he looked just like me when I was a kid, so I liked him.
Me too.
And,
fat and just annoying.
And he's in that movie, and then he's fine. And then later on, he's in he's in some other movies like Vegas Vacation. He plays Rusty. And then Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, that's where I've seen this guy before.
He's the main character in Can't Hardly Wait, which I love. And then he's in a bunch of he's in a ton of stuff. I like him.
He was Rusty in Vegas Vacation?
Yeah. He's the one that won all the cars.
That's where I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he let himself go.
I guess.
I mean, he put $1 and he got a car. He put $1 and he got a car. He put $1 and he got a car. Put $1 and got a car. I mean, and then he just ate himself into.
I love when he does that in that movie when he's like, put $1 and got a car. He does the whole thing. But it's one of the few good things about Vegas Vacation and the damn thing. That's fun.
Where's the damn tour?
But so in this episode, he starts off with his audition. He's got the little camcorder there, and he's like, he recognizes John, the hiring agent. He's like, "Hey, John, nice to see you again." He's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are, man. Just hurry up." And he wants to do a bigger role. The guy won't let him, and then he starts reading for this one guy. And then he goes home, starts drinking a beer. He's there with his girlfriend, who's clearly pissed off at him. Drinking beer, and they have a really nice apartment. Looks like a big studio, and I think it's the same studio from a couple other episodes I recognized in the season. It's the same set, but the power gets shut off.
Studio.
What?
It's a studio in a studio.
Yeah, it's a studio. But the power gets shut off.
Actors.
Studio.
I was at this point. Don't ever do that again. I was really upset. That song sucks. The beginning, I was concerned because I was like, oh, it's an actor. He doesn't get a role. His power gets shut off. The girlfriend's mad at him. I'm like, this is so cliche.
When's the last time you guys' power was shut off for non-payment?
Never.
Really? You guys haven't lived. Adam, go ahead.
I had it happen once. Yeah, I had it happen once. Not proud. Yeah.
No, it's about the most degrading moment of
Yep. No, I had that happen, and I actually had it out for about a week.
Yeah, that's when I was
rock bottom, baby, rock bottom.
Now you hear.
Yeah. And yeah, like normally when it happens, you're like, I have to change things. There's things in my life I have to change.
Yeah, me too. Let's go rob a bank.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he gets out of this. They have a
Father,
conversation.
grandfather.
They have a conversation with his girlfriend, and she's like, "I'm not mad. I just want you to stop, like, actually communicate with me." And he's like, "This is about money, isn't it?" And she's like, "No, it's about communication, and you're jealous of my success or something like that." Which, if she's so successful, why isn't the power paid? I have no idea. But
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And isn't she get some from? Never mind.
no, yeah, come on, Frank.
No.
Maybe he's tricking her out.
I would.
Yeah. It's fair.
I mean,
And he's
when I
jealous?
saw her, like, that was my first thought when I saw her. Like, you know, if I was with that chick, I would definitely be pimping her on the corner.
Her name is Carmel Amit, or Meat, however you pronounce that last name. But her first name is Carmel.
I would give her the meat. Oh, God damn, you're fucking funny, Frank.
Meat Carmel? What? A meat.
I earned that.
Anyway, I won't play the clip, but we all know what I'm going to play. So, the episode, he decides he's going to go rob a bank, and he does so by going, I'm going to show my whole fucking face walking into this place, and look at the security guard, the cop, or whatever the hell he is, and just go, "Hey, what's up?" Anyway, give me all your money. Like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
I like how before he goes into the bank, this is when I started really getting into it. He's like, "I went to Juilliard. I can handle this.
Yeah.
I went to Juilliard. I can rob a bank."
Yeah, and I was just like, what does going to the mini putt have anything to do with that? Right?
Frank, do you know what Juilliard
Shut
is?
up, Frank.
Yeah, there's a Juilliard driving range down the street.
So if you live in the South Jersey area, you got Frank's joke.
I made it up.
Oh.
There's no driving range.
So if you do live in the South Jersey area, you're still staring at Frank, waiting for an apology.
On his front lawn, hands down his shorts.
I know what Juilliard is. Yeah, it was just a bad joke. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
So
that was a good one.
He starts to rob the bank.
Well timed.
He goes up to the teller, asks for the money. She pushes the panic button. Obviously, the security guard walks over, not with his gun, but with his banana in his hand.
That was funny, dude.
And he sits over the banana, and then Ethan Embry's waving the gun around, and like, "Yes, everyone calm down, everyone calm down." And then he looks over at the teller, and then they like show the Requiem for a Dream thing where they shoot up drugs. Their pupils get all big and small. They do that thing with
acid, yeah.
And this was where I was like, "Oh, here we go." I did this thing. I was like, "Oh no!" But instead, I was like, "Oh, they're switching bodies." Okay, I didn't know what the fuck was happening at first, until she repeats the same line, like, "Give me the bag." Wait, and they switch bodies, and that's the whole premise of this episode.
Yeah, and it was great. I thought, like, just there was no rhyme or reason behind him doing that. It's not like the money he had gave him the power, because he could do it without holding the money.
Yeah.
So, I didn't need a reason for him to be able to do it. It didn't matter. It's the Twilight Zone.
That's exactly
it's like in the moment of his highest desperation, he developed a mutant power that just happened to happen at the right time, at the right moment in the Twilight Zone.
I mean, yeah, exactly. There's so many episodes of Twilight Zone where shit happens, it's crazy, it's over the top, and you never know why. Like Nervous Man in a $4 room. He gets at his lowest point, suddenly starts seeing himself in the mirror talking to himself. It doesn't matter why, it matters that it's happening. And so I was like, "Oh shit, this is happening, okay." And immediately I was like, when they showed the body switch and she's in his body, and I was like, so if he does it again, is it just a big fuck around where everyone's in the wrong body? But
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to follow the logic, and I'm like, the continuity is slightly askew here, because if every time he, it's weird who goes back into whose body when he does it, but then they switch, like, and the kid, it's just like, I don't know, but I thought it was
continuity's fine. It's just.
Yeah, the continuity is solved when they explain it, right? Because I mean, it's just anytime he switches bodies, that person goes to his body,
and then that original
person, the other one, that person goes back to their own body.
Exactly.
They reveal that slightly later. Yeah,
right.
With the cop.
It was a bit like, I watched it 3 times, so by the 3rd time I was like, okay, but like the first time I was a little bit like, wait a minute, didn't you? But the second time when I watched, I'm like, oh, okay.
Were you stoned the first 2 times?
No, I haven't been stoned in a few weeks.
Okay. I thought they did a pretty good job explaining
Frank's
what
last 4 brain cells.
I thought they did a pretty good job.
Wow, what's that?
With the second, so in the confusion, the teller, who's actually Ethan Embry's character, Harry, she goes to the back. She gets in an argument with a coworker when she realizes she's taking the money. A cop walks in. It's Officer Luntz. And then they do another switch where she trades places with the cop. And so then they trade, and they're just like back and forth. And so Harry is now in the cop's body. The teller is now back in her own body. The cop is now in Harry's body. And then I was like, okay, so they just go back in the original body once Harry, the new person goes to Harry's body, and then it kicks out whoever was in there, goes back to their body. I got it right away. But then the cop just takes the money.
It made for some great dialogue because the conversation will switch depending on whoever the hell he's moved into recently.
This is
did anybody figure out what the secret was when Officer Lance or Luntz. Yeah, Officer Lance Luntz.
Lance Link, secret chimp. Sorry.
No, go on. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought.
So you're asking, did anybody guess the secret?
Right.
No.
Did you guys guess the secret when Luntz said it?
So let's just say we're gonna spoil the episode, obviously. The secret is we find out that Harry's girlfriend, who was about to tell him in the beginning, she's like, stop, we have to have a conversation right now. She's about to tell him what's going on. But instead he leaves. Which should be his downfall. But instead, this episode rewards him in such a way where he has immortality, he gets a career, and he keeps his girlfriend.
Yeah.
The secret is the cop is fucking Harry's girlfriend. And I was like, when he saw Harry in the lobby of the bank robbing the place, and he kind of looks at it, and I was like, in retrospect, I'm like, does he recognize him there? He must, because they have pictures up in their apartment, and I was never sure if he actually recognized him.
Maybe she hides all the pictures when he's over because she feels guilty.
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Every time I cheated, with a chick that had a husband, I knew exactly what he looked like. I needed to, just in case he came for me.
Yes, but you're assuming the chick told you she's married. What if this girl never said she had a boyfriend?
They do that sometimes.
But at the end, she says Harry's been gone all day. It's the last straw. So who knows? Point is, we don't know. But that second time I watched it, he gives him a look when he's on the ground getting arrested, and I was like, oh, maybe he does know him. Maybe he does recognize him. Maybe that's why he's more invested in this than just a regular case.
I mean, as soon as he found out where he was from, which had to have been I don't know, minute 5 of being on the crime scene, he had to have known where he was from, his address and everything. And he was like, oh my God, that's so weird. I've been banging a chick at that address. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had to pull up in his book, who am I fucking at that address? If I were that guy, I'd fuck everybody. So he's
I think it
looking
also
through that.
plays to the development of that storyline though too, because he's, obviously somebody else is in his body. He's in there interrogating him. He's not giving this guy the time of day because, hey, this is just this fucking guy who's a washed up piece of shit. I don't trust a word he says. And so it kind of plays to the strength of the cop in that way, I think. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think it was interesting that I think it lends itself towards that part of the story of he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's a simple story, but it's it keeps getting better as time goes on. It really does. It's builds on. I think the better episodes of this series are when you forget you're watching the Twilight Zone.
Exactly.
You feel like you're watching a movie. Oh, that's right. This is Twilight Zone.
This is a movie. This episode feels the most like a movie, and it works on its own. I mean, it's the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington,
but better.
But better. I like Fallen, but it's very similar to this, especially in that street scene when he's swapping bodies left and right.
Right. They kind of do that with this, but a little more clever.
Yeah.
Like just because it's like zoom in, zoom out.
Hey, lady.
And the audience gets it. Yeah.
And going off what you were saying, Adam, I do think, kind of Adam and Jansen, what you guys were saying, the episode does enough where it's kind of cliche, and you kind of think you know where it's going, but it does enough body switches. It doesn't do too many. It doesn't do too few. It does just the right amount. Where if it was way too many, we'd lose track. But we saw the aftermath. We saw him. The cop was like frustrated as hell because he had to keep starting over the conversation with someone new.
Well, and it's not just how many that could confuse you, right? It's about the clarity of the character that he's switching to, making sure that that character is a strong personality and they have certain traits that define them from the rest of the other ones, right? Each character that he switches to is completely different from the last one. So it really helps to kind of set a timeline and make it really simple to understand for anybody.
One of my first surprises was the fact that the cop didn't.
Yeah.
The cop believed him. Like most of the time in these episodes, cops like, "Are you crazy? I throw you in the drunk tank, I will."
That's kind of what I'm going at. But he didn't deal with any pirate cops.
I mean, was that an Irish pirate?
Yeah, that was an Irish pirate, Frank. From the. I went to Juilliard.
He's got a potato leg.
I've golfed.
So if you went to Juilliard, what did you shoot on the ninth hole?
Let's call back a terrible joke.
Irish pirates.
That windmill's a bitch.
See, that's the biggest hurdle for me halfway through the episode was the cop. I'm ignoring you. The cop the believability of the cop believing in the science or the mystery of what's actually happening, that he's switching bodies. Because it'd be way too stupid if he's like, "You're switch bodies? Okay, I believe you. Let's go investigate." That'd be way too stupid. It'd be too stupid if he just ignored it until the end. But
instead, he's getting frustrated because the bodies keep switching when they're relevant to him. And that's when I started really getting into it. I'm like, I like where this is going, man.
And they never threw out the line like he has multiple personality disorder. They never threw that out. He just kind of watches the person and he realizes, I think it might help that he knew the guy. He must have known Harry and knows that he's not crazy. He doesn't have multiple personality disorder. So therefore he's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? This guy's not a good actor.
Split. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he pretty much literally proved it to him. I mean, like at that point, with him knowing the secret, it's the only thing that Officer Luntz would know.
Yeah. But he doesn't. Did you think he said what it was? Because he turned off the recorder and then we cut away.
Well, if he's like, "I know your secret," you know what I mean, and of course he's gonna hit the recorder off. That's of course he knew.
I was scared for a minute that they weren't going to come back to that secret. I'm like, so sometimes they do that in shows. They start something and they don't finish it. Like they kind of,
lost.
Yeah, really. I mean,
I'm going to ask you a direct question. Here's your answer. Anyway, so there's an island over. Like, oh my God, just answer the fucking question. God, Lost. Come on.
Mystery boxes. Yay!
Woo!
Why?
God.
Wait. There's a whole nother set of survivors that were in the back of the plane led by Michelle Rodriguez.
I know you're curious about the polar bears, but did I tell you about the others?
Lost is like the EA of TV shows. It just gives you a bunch of shit you don't want and nothing that you do want, and then it makes you pay for it.
It makes you pay for the answers.
People wonder why I don't want to watch it. I'm like, well, because I know better. Because I don't want to do that to myself. Not yet.
All Madden has to do is send us a patch with number changes and names on the back of jerseys and shit. But $80 game for that. Yeah.
Unless you get the super edition, that gold edition they have every year, which is like $130. Which
that's not the gold edition. That's the fuck you, you're stupid edition.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Call of Duty, all the same.
Yep.
All the same.
They should just start calling it the whale edition and leave it at that, because that's exactly what the fuck it is. It's like let's catch us some whales.
The Moby Dick edition is. Oh, are you a cop now?
Yeah,
that was
Irish
weird.
pirate cop.
Okay. So where are we? The cop. He's in the cop's spot. He calls the girlfriend. He's like, "Hey, bitch, I'm your boyfriend." She's like, "No, bitch, no, you're not. I'm gonna call the cops, bitch." And he's like, "All right, bitch, bye." And then he walks away and he starts. That's pretty much what I heard. And he talks in the mirror and he's like,
said that.
he's like trying to talk. He's like trying to talk like Ethan Embry does, but instead he's like, he gives up and he's like, freeze. He starts doing the cop thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
like, then he's realizing he's like, this is the greatest role of all time.
Yeah. The episode had enough comedy where it wasn't a comedy, but I was laughing throughout because it kept me invested. Because then he goes to a coffee shop, gets coffee, switches to the barista because some other cops are coming in that are looking for him, throws the bag over, switches.
Did anybody notice how he was like eyeballing the donuts though? Like all of a sudden it's like, man, I gotta fit in.
I gotta keep up presentations.
Yeah.
But then the cops, he throws the bag over. The cops didn't see this, and the cops come in, and they're just like immediately like, "Hey, barista, stop! Give us that bag!" And I'm like, "How the fuck did you see all this so quickly?"
I was getting a little frustrated first because I'm like, why don't you just stash that fucking bag somewhere and
like,
like
what are you
eliminate
doing?
a whole lot of problems? Yeah.
If you got rid of that bag, or hey, a plastic bag, throw it in a
Yeah,
fucking
you just
Walmart
put it in
bag.
a fucking garbage bag or something.
Go to the 7-Eleven or Frank's Juilliard. I'm sure they have bags there to pick up the balls or something. Throw it in that, and then you're fine. You don't have to worry.
You got money, you could buy yourself a nice gym bag or a nice JanSport backpack or some shit like that, you know,
Or like
a Hello Kitty backpack, whatever, you know.
Dude, bowling ball bags are underrated. I mean, there's so much room in those things when you don't have the bowling ball.
He-Man lunchbox, you know.
Human heads and shit.
2, 3,
Greg just said,
eight, right?
Greg
Wasn't
just
it
said,
8 heads and 1 bowling ball bag?
in a duffel
No.
bag.
What are they, shrunken heads?
Joe
Oh.
Joe,
In a
Joe
duffel
Pesci
bag.
movie.
Yeah.
Joe
Oh, yeah.
Pesci, David
Found it.
Spade.
Found it, Phoenix. Found it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm.
So,
Man, our podcast listeners are really missing out on some of this video shit.
yeah. Greg just asked, who would have known Juilliard has a bank robbing class?
Well, they don't because he was terrible at it.
Yeah. I mean, he had a plastic gun, and when it fell, it broke. It was a prop gun
They
from a
might have gotten
movie.
it confused with the bank shot class.
Well, not for nothing. I mean, even his fake gun would have outgunned the banana.
Yeah, that banana did crack me up.
The nanner.
I don't know. Maybe he's allergic to bananas.
Oh, shit. Yeah. The cop might have had an ace up his sleeve there.
I was just hoping it wasn't going to come back to some corny cliche where he slips on the fucking banana peel and then loses his power or something like that.
That would have been the best twist at the end if he just dies. He like gets fed a banana.
How'd she get the power back on at the end?
I don't think she had the power back on at the end, did she?
I don't know. I have to rewatch it for that.
I don't remember seeing it. I think there was candles.
Did we just find a plot hole in our favorite episode of the?
Well, she
of
could have
the new
called in
series so far.
She's doing well. She could have called or asked him, the cop, for money because she's fucking the cop, which I don't blame her.
Man, like that's what I'm like. Why is she broke when she's banging, the head of police over there?
I don't know. Because
he looked like a young Rock, actually, a young Dwayne Johnson.
He's more handsome than The Rock.
I'm not disputing that.
He looks more like Mario Van Peebles.
He does. He does.
Yeah,
he's definitely a Van Peeble. He's a Van Peeble people. Anyway, so oh god, this is what we come to. Don't you play a clip? I can tell you're looking for one. So he switches outside. The cops chase him. He switches to a jogger, who they keep saying like a well-fit guy, and I'm like, that guy's kind of in shape.
Yeah, he's average.
Yeah. Then he runs away with the money. He goes into. I was looking forward to because I knew Billy Porter's in this episode. He's from American Horror Story, but he goes into Billy Porter's like curio shop or something called "Find Out Who You Really Are" psychic shop. He goes in there.
And Keith, can I play Keith? I gotta play Keith.
Yes, Keith is great.
Great, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, that's Lance saying, man. He's gonna see.
Luntz.
Whatever.
Really got to label these things.
Yeah, I know.
No, you can just. He's gonna dead air.
Does it look like he's cuddling his microphone right now?
It looks like he's frozen. There he is. He's rubbing that.
Stroke it to the
on
left.
his cheek.
Stroke it to the right.
I guess I don't.
Take it to the limit.
You want to find out? Are you a psychic? I'm Keith. Harry. Welcome, Harry. Can you help me? Oh, I most certainly can. Do we have psychic client confidentiality? You ain't my client. Yes. Secrets are safe with me.
I'm gonna get a drink.
I robbed the bank this morning. Oh, really?
I edited it.
Why?
Too late.
Money?
It was a good,
What do you mean?
Great scene. Man.
I don't know. Honestly, I think my girlfriend is going to leave me. She may be cheating on me. My career is, hell, it's a dumpster fire. And I can't afford our apartment. Did she say she was going to leave you over money? She said it isn't about money. But you robbed a bank.
Oh, it's still playing. Great.
When people think things are about money, they're generally about something else.
Mixed it. It's still
They're
playing.
usually about how much empathy you have. Are you being generous?
Are you just playing the whole scene?
Empathy? Look, this isn't even the crazy part.
It's about.
So why won't you look me in the eye then?
About 8 minutes longer.
It's definitely a bad
30
idea.
seconds.
That's it's kind of the problem.
So how you doing today, Jensen?
See, when
I'm doing good. I found out the power wasn't back on the last scene.
Oh, well, it wasn't?
Really? What are you wearing?
Candles?
No candles, just daylight.
Daylight?
Mhm.
So he goes over the next day?
By Calvin Klein.
It does sound like a fragrance. So I just got the poll results on Twitter. I asked, I do my MFK for every episode that we do, which is Marry, Fuck, Kill for the Who of You. I accidentally put an extra hour in there, but as of now, fuck is at 80%, and my vote is the only one for marry. Why am I the only marry on there? I want to marry this episode.
I would marry it, yeah.
You're a romantic at heart.
By the way, Phoenix, so what was the final results of the season? Seasons 1 through 5 poll.
So, it was a long battle. It started off with 156 episodes, got whittled down, and the winner, drum roll. Oh, that was the weakest fucking. No, it wasn't a joke. Drum roll.
It's the only drum I got.
Was my second favorite episode, which is whatever that's called, The Obsolete Man. It narrowly beat A Stop at Willoughby, which I'm glad we don't have to talk about again, because I have nothing else to say about that episode.
Phoenix, I thought it was illusions.
So we get to hear Frank doing that, unfortunately. So eventually we're going to get around to that, guys. We're going to do a Redux episode on that for our.
Cool.
That episode kind of celebrated our 5-year for as a podcast. So that's what that poll is for. We'll get to that eventually after we finish season 5 and we do our wrap episode. I got a whole schedule planned out until like November, so it's gonna be fun. But we'll get around to that. But let's get back to this episode. Where the fuck are we? Oh, we talked to Billy Porter, who is like, "Ooh, interesting. Let's stare into my eyes," and they stare in each other's eyes. And then Billy Porter goes into Ethan Embry's body and is like flirting with the cop, which I thought was funny. What's he call him?
Am I the only one that thought he wasn't wearing a corduroy suit?
Who?
Keith said, I'm shocked you're wearing a corduroy suit, but it works on you, honey, or something like that. And I'm like, it doesn't look corduroy to me.
Who did he say that to?
To the cop.
The cop didn't look like he's
To
wearing corduroy
Officer
at all.
Van Peebles.
Yeah. No, I didn't remember that line.
Yeah, like when you know, because the cop is now talking to like the fifth person that Harry is now taking over, I guess. So he's like, "So who are you now?" You know, he's like, "I'm Keith." I'm like, "Oh, okay, Keith." You know, and that's when he sat down.
I love that in that scene we don't see Billy. We don't cut away to see Billy Porter in the jogger's body. It just stays right there, and he flirts with him. They're talking. He's like, I was in my shop on Cherry Street, and then it immediately goes, ah. He's like, no, not again, and it's a jogger again. That you can tell they switch back. I like when there's a story told off screen. We don't have to see it. We understood what happened. So this episode gets everything right. Yeah, it's officially my favorite episode. I just made my mind up right now.
I was waiting for it to suck, and it surprised me, like refreshingly surprised me, because there was a lot of cliches where I thought, oh, here they're going to do this. Like, nope, they didn't do that.
Yeah,
good on you, episode.
I feel like the writer did, I don't know, more than one draft, which is refreshing.
I feel like the writer gave a shit and thought, well, people actually like good storytelling. Let's just do that.
Yeah,
so it was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I feel like they took a script for a movie that would have been good from like the 90s, and they're like, oh, let's just rework this. It's already well written.
That's possible. Yeah, I think a lot of episodes have maybe started off as movie scripts and then just kind of became an episode of something.
And if that's not the case, even better. Like, holy shit, someone on the staff wrote this episode, and they got it down. They nailed it, and everything looks good. It doesn't look like the other episodes, which is another plus. Every single episode of both season 1 and season 2 at this point look the fucking same. They all have the. Why are you so close to the character's face? Like the beginning of Meet in the Middle, it's like, I'm like, get the fuck back. Everything's silver.
I just graduated from film school. Look,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm being edgy. Wow.
I mentioned this in the last week. Everything looks like silver and that cobalt, like blue. And everything looks the same, and everything's shot the same. This episode was like, oh shit, the camera backed up. The actors took their time. They weren't too slow. They weren't rushed. They did what they had to do, and every scene felt like a progressive story. I
wasn't confused. I didn't have to pause the button to see what the hell I missed or what's going on or if I missed something. Yeah.
It wasn't the episode called 8, which I almost dry heaved because I was laughing so hard afterward.
Oh God, that's going to be an interesting podcast. Oh boy.
I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe when it ended.
Yeah, dude. I'm thinking, who's responsible? I want to hire you to embarrass yourself again in front of a public audience.
Apparently, the writer who did this episode is also the writer doing a sequel to Candyman that comes out this year.
Oh, Blumhouse's Candyman.
That you sparked my interest. Then I might take that movie a little bit more seriously.
Well, it depends.
If you have a story to tell. Yeah.
Well, here's the catch. Jordan Peele's also writing the screenplay for it.
Yeah. Oh, Christ. I mean,
no, Jordan Peele's a good writer.
I know. Yeah. I do like him as a writer.
It'll be interesting.
Jordan Peele's a good writer. I think he needs to be involved more with the Twilight Zone. I think if he was involved more, it would be a better show. I think this season
maybe he's a little intimidated by it?
Fuck yeah. Wouldn't you be?
I would be totally intimidated to have that much responsibility.
I mean, what happens if you're better than Sterling, which is almost physically impossible to ever.
Dude, this episode competes.
I 100% agree.
Fucks.
What?
What?
This episode fucks? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It fucks. This episode gets sucked. It fucks. It does everything. It pegs, Frank. That
even gets married.
Yeah. It's got 80% fuck rate. What more do you want out of an episode? Look on Twitter.
Let's not start sucking each other's dicks quite yet.
Oh,
that was good.
Hey,
the wolf.
The wolf.
Brian the Wolf. That's all you had to say.
Please just call me Bruce.
Thank you for not dropping the N-bomb there.
Not happening.
Or Winston. I'm sorry, Winston.
There's a message in this episode, but it's not like some Twitter drama. It's
open to interpretation, I feel like.
Would you say it's like you don't really get to know somebody till you walk around in their skin, somebody else's skin for a while? Like it literally takes him leaving his body to realize how much of an asshole he is.
Yeah, but even then, he still doesn't realize it. He still
no. It takes him a little while, but by the end of it, I think he kind of finally starts to figure it out. It's like, hey, maybe I can.
I feel like this is one of the rare ones where there really isn't much of a moral. It's just an interesting story. And
not necessarily, but also I was surprised that the bad guy and the guy doing all the bad stuff in the show gets away with it.
He
Right.
gets
Doesn't
immortality, his girlfriend back, and a better body.
I
Yeah.
feel like
a
if
much
more-
bigger hog.
And it gets his career. That's 4 huge things. One of them is
Yeah.
like 12 inches
I
long.
feel like
That's huge.
if more episodes adapted to the thought of we don't necessarily have to have a moral or a reason for this story, then we would get some better writing. Because
we don't have to hit political hot button of the week. Yeah.
You
Well, I mean,
guys-
and that's evident in the original series, right? There's 90% of these episodes don't have some moral guidelines
No,
to them.
they have
but
moral
they're
guidelines. They
good.
don't have political guidelines.
That too. Fair enough. But even still,
picked
there's not always some tale to be told or some lesson to be learned. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to comment on the whole the message thing. Like I picked up on 2 quotes throughout the episode that I was like, I think he put it in there on purpose. For everything that's going on.
I don't remember them, so they must not have.
No,
they're
very subtle.
They flew under my nose this time, but which is fine. It's fine if you want to put politics in the show as long as it's just not.
It was tasteful. It was
Yeah.
tasteful. Yeah, it wasn't on the nose.
We
beating
had
over the head with it.
We had a whole episode last year about on our 2019 wrap up for season 1, where I said, and everyone thinks that the original series. What is he doing?
Couldn't find my phone, so
the original series is a morality play.
Yeah.
He would hide political stuff in there every once in a while. It wasn't overbearing. It was an episode and a little message contained in it. 2019 one was a message with a little story wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
And I did an image.
Enough to hang it on.
Yeah. And it's completely opposite. But this season, I don't think, Frank, the last episode of last season, Blurry Man, is the reason that we're here now. I think they just read all the. I said in our 2019 wrap up, they have to be looking at the IMDb ratings and the comments and going, "Oh fuck," and let's correct the ship course, and they did.
I have another theory. What if these episodes were written and then somebody at the studio said, "Oh no, we have to be more socially progressive. We have to hit more hot buttons," and they put those stories aside. And then started doing the ones that we got in season 1 instead. So they make sure they let the audience know that we have an agenda to achieve.
I don't think so.
No.
Look at Picard, same studio.
Ugh.
That has a horrible message of be a racist.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah.
And
how so?
It tells you flat out robots, machines are the enemy. And then you think it's going to be like they have to overcome and they have to work with them. But no, it's just like, fuck those robots. All our characters are super racist against robots. And they never correct that. So it's just like, it's so weird. And they're also racist against... sorry, what?
Yeah, but their thought process is probably, well, robots don't have souls. Who gives a fuck about a robot?
That's not what Star Trek's about.
I know. I'm not saying Star Trek. I'm saying...
Yeah,
writer.
I'm just saying the moralities are all fucked. I don't think the show and the producers are getting involved in that way. I think it's just the people who are actually making the show, like the writers. Jordan Peele was saying we got to do this because we're in the current climate. Blah 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 blah. If we don't do this, people are going to say we're not paying attention to the world and blah blah blah. And they put way too much leverage into that, and it took over the show. Which now we're seeing they kind of said, all right, let's push that aside. We did that. It didn't work. Somehow we got a season 2. Let's go ahead and actually write sci-fi stories.
They said it's our duty to socially reprogram these people. Is it working?
No.
No, it sure as fuck isn't.
We're talking about Twilight Zone.
It is in China.
Oh, now we're talking about Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My eyes just glazed over when you guys started talking about Star
Jansen
Trek.
is loitering in Wonderland, thinking he's too good for this podcast.
Yes. Accurate.
You tend to fade out, so I made that.
Listen.
You want to hear Adam's?
I 100% agree with that soundbite.
You want to hear Adam's soundbite?
Oh, yeah, please.
Look at the screen for moving holes putting out words before your hole does so.
There you go.
What?
Look at the screen for moving holes putting out words before your hole does so.
Because I'm always interrupting everybody.
That's good.
Anyway, so where are we with the episode? I don't want to go too long. Jansen, I told you to put a clock on me. We're
Yeah,
about.
you got 8 minutes.
Yeah, no, we didn't start right at 7 though.
Well, according to my clock, you got 8 minutes. Wrap it up, Domer.
I am. That's what I'm doing. We're getting there. So the cop is talking to the jogger who's now in Harry's body, and he's like, "I was in some weird mystic shop." And he goes, "Congratulations, you're now a human GPS." And they head out. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." I love that line.
Best line too.
It's funny, but it's not stupid. And they head out, and then for some fucking reason, it takes them like 12 to 13 hours to get to Cherry Street because they head out, and then way fucking later, Harry has enough time to go inside, get kicked out of the curio shop, missing his money bag, call the cops, talks to them about stolen property. They freak the fuck out. They're way too suspicious. They get a radio call, and they're like, "Were you at the Starbucks on blank blank?" He's like, "Yes." "No." "What's your name?" "I don't know." He has time to switch bodies with Sex Pistols guy, the girl across the street, the old man across the street, because he happened to look up and see a blue teddy bear in a window through the skylight in the curio shop or the mystic shop, whatever the fuck you call that. And then he, as an old man, goes up, talks to his neighbors. He's just like setting his bags down, getting his keys, and they're like, "You're acting weird, Mr. Blank Blank Blank." And I'm like, he's just getting his fucking keys. How's that acting weird? Does that guy come in, like, do a whole fucking Nazi salute, and he just didn't do it this time? What is this guy up to? That acting normal is his suspicious behavior.
I mean, he didn't touch the boy when he saw him, I guess. I don't know.
You didn't follow my son. Are you okay?
Typical nosy neighbors.
You're not acting very Nambla today. No, but he talks to the mom. He tries to trade bodies with the mom because he sees the blue teddy bear in the kid's hand. He tries to do it, but she has glasses, and they do a cool shot where you see the lens flare going off.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
She can't. That's all you needed. This episode does everything right. And I saw that, and I go, "Oh, he can't do it because of the glasses." So he looks at the kid, and he trades with the kid. And it worked. And he goes upstairs, and he hears 2 seconds of his nighttime story, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Mom. I'm going to go to sleep." She's like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "I want to jerk off and go to sleep. What the fuck is the problem?" And then No, go ahead.
I still don't understand how the kid repelled in through the skylight into the room.
That's what we're getting to.
It's funny how he did it, though.
He goes to sleep with, like, how do you sleep with, like, random fucking lights going around your bedroom? I would be like, oh, God, I feel like I'm getting abducted. Not by the neighbor, by the aliens.
It's just one light with the thing.
No, it is spinning constantly across his bed. I'm a light fucking sleeper.
Frank, do you have a light like that?
No.
Do you have stars in your ceiling? Glow-in-the-dark stars?
Do you have a lava lamp?
I would, but Missy wouldn't let me put them up.
Because she doesn't want to fuck a 6-year-old?
Well, I have planets, too.
Of course you do. That's why I asked. I didn't ask Jansen or Adam. I asked you.
When I moved into this house, every room in the entire house was covered in glow-in-the-dark sticker stars.
Were they really?
Every single fucking room.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Did a bunch of 6-year-olds on top of each other in a trench coat own that house? What the fuck happened?
Yes.
You have the address to this house?
Listen, it's probably Frank's house.
Well, yeah.
Frank, can you hear this?
That'd be funny. That'd be a Twilight Zone coincidence if you could reach through the wall and hand him a beer.
Yeah.
Bloom, bloom. Like Portal.
Here you go, Jansen.
I wish you had a Mountain Dew right now, Jansen. That'd be amazing.
I know.
Frank.
We should totally do that one time.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Me and
Give me
Pete
that
did
Mountain
that.
Dew.
We did that, yeah.
We should all get a
Give me
Mountain
that
Dew
Mountain
next week and pass it around randomly.
When we did our room episode, we taught each other football. He had a football, I had football. We were back and forth with it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Give me that Dew, Frank.
But yes, Frank, you guys go ahead and do your physical comedy. We're going to talk about what Frank was mentioning. I knew that was coming. The kid goes tells his mom he's going to sleep, and then he looks because his room is overlooking the curio shop, and he gets his 2 bed sheets tied together, which are a total of 130 feet long. Climbs down in his tiny 6-7-year-old body
with his little fat, pudgy, cute little fingers,
and then scales the side of the building like he's in Mission Impossible. apparently goes whoa and gets it.
Was it any less believable when they lowered Indiana Jones into the Well of Souls with Nazi flags? They used to bring him out. Wait, yeah, that's how they brought him out of the Well of Souls, because he lost the rope. So it's like they had all these Nazi flags tied together.
They had to save him somehow.
Yeah.
But so not only did he have to go from the building down to the curio shop roof, which had a big skylight, but then he had to be like, "Hoo-yah!" and then whip it off his bedroom window and then take it back over there, go from the window, the skylight, down to the shop. And they don't show any of this. They just show like a little kid in pajamas.
This
like,
little Doogie Howser MacGyver Mission Impossible.
Hey, Jansen, these things are totally possible if you have your Spider-Man pajamas on.
Did he? He might have.
Or your
Does a
crazy
backflip.
hat. I don't. One of the two.
It'd have been funnier if he just went out the window and then just fell to his death.
Yeah, I would.
Jordan Peele comes over and
his ass down there.
The tale of today. I don't know, man.
And I mean, you know, the whole knot where it'll hold all your body weight and everything. All you gotta do is, and it goes. like I would love to tie a knot like that. That'd be so badass. I wouldn't trust.
I think it would have been funnier if they like kind of put it in there, like, oh well, kids are resilient. He should just jump off and fall into the glass and be fine.
It goes all crash test dummy.
Yeah, and right before he hits the ground and goes splat, he looks at the detective.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, just splat.
Both of them, Ethan Embry as the kid, and then the kid as Ethan Embry, are like, hey.
Did you laugh as hard as I did when Ethan Embry started squealing like a kid that was just freaking out by being in a man's body in the car? He's like, ah!
I laughed so hard because the cop starts going, ah! Ah!
All right, I'll buy you some ice cream. You like ice cream? Yeah, me too.
It reminded me of Raising Arizona when John Goodman and William Forsythe are in there yelling about the baby. God, that movie's fucking funny. That movie's so good, I had to review it for Nick Cage Cast, and I couldn't do it, so I created a new character to do it, which is the icon you're seeing on the posters for this. I don't really have an eye patch and a big scar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, you look healthy. You know,
I named him Tucson East.
Tucson East.
You gotta get creative, you know.
Gotta get creative.
What am I gonna say about Raising Arizona? What am I gonna
is he
bitch about
gonna
it?
say?
What am I gonna bitch about Raising Arizona? Like, oh, the fucking scene that was hilarious that I loved and have always loved. And that's the end of the episode.
I've run into that with movie reviews. I'm like, how do I make this funny? I like this movie. How do I shit on a movie that I like?
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It really is.
This is why this is the first episode of the show. We're actually going through scene by scene. We didn't do that in the previous two. We're doing it now because we have to. Because I'm not going to shit in the episode.
No,
but he gets down in the curio shop. I keep calling it that, but that's not what it is. But I'm already on the track, so let's just keep going. Gets down there. The cop suddenly appeared after his 15-hour pilgrimage from the fucking cop shop down to this shop. And he's like, has a flashlight, and he's with Ethan Embry, who's now a 7-year-old. And he's like, hey, come on, do the right thing. Get inside that kid. Get inside that kid right to me. And he's like, I'm not my next door neighbor. And then he's like, do the right thing. Switch bodies. Give this kid his life back. You know, go to 5 years max. That's all you'll do. And then
what he's really saying is, I'll put you away forever. So
it's like
5 years max for fucking body snatching.
No, just bank robbery. Attempted bank robbery without a weapon.
Whatever will stick to get him out of
out of the house.
Yeah. He can go, balls deep in his girl.
I like to see the judge read that off. Like, you're sentenced to a maximum of however long it takes for that cop to impregnate your girlfriend and get married, and then you're free because you're not going to compete with him. And that's his sentence.
Like, do you think she was high? Like what would she be on the Clydesdale scale?
3.
Yeah, I would say 3.
Yeah, she looked like that one woman who got caught for not being black. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about
she looked like her.
NCAAP, the NCAAP. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
She got caught for pretending to be black.
She looked like her. Where I'm like
NAACP. Sorry, I'm at 25% today.
That's all right. The And then at this point, it was very predictable what was going to happen. I was like, he's going to trade into the cop because look at that fucking guy. And he's like, looks at the kid and he looks back at the cop and then he goes into his body. And then they have like a whole standoff where the cop has the gun. He's like, "You're going to serve my 5 years, bitch." And he's like, "No, bitch, no, I'm not, bitch." And then he pulls the gun away from him. And then so Ethan Embry has the gun pointing the gun at the cop. So then the other cops burst in and then we cut outside and we just see. And apparently that didn't trade back. He just stuck in his body. So the cop died. That's what he gets for fucking that guy's girlfriend. So I don't know.
Crime doesn't pay.
Crime does pay.
Crime does pay. He actually starts getting parts and
because then it cuts to he goes over and he's he's thinking as Ethan Embry as Harry. He goes over to talk to his girlfriend and like my Harry's dead, like the body of Harry. So I have to do it with this body, which thank God I won the fucking body lottery here. I want to fuck that cop. Did I make that clear yet? But he goes into the apartment and she's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey," and she invites him in immediately. He's like, "Okay," and he steps in, and Jansen just looked. Apparently, it's lit by candlelight, which is a good continuation.
It's not candlelight. It's daylight.
Oh, it's daylight. That's right. You said that. So he waited the next day, I guess. So I guess he sleep on the fucking. He must have stayed there overnight doing the paperwork, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, anything that happens, you have to do paperwork.
Yeah, but what would he do for paperwork? He's not a cop.
I mean, fake
crossword puzzles.
Dude died.
Self-explanatory. What happened? Well,
I think he quit right there because then he goes and auditions. But he goes to girlfriend's place. He goes inside and she's like, "Stop fucking around, huh?" And he's like, "I'm a cop." And then she says, "Stop fucking around." They start making out, and he realizes, "Oh, my girlfriend's cheating on me." But here's where we get tricky because Jordan Peele comes in after his audition, which he fucking nails. He gets that part that Ethan Embry wanted. He nails it. He gets the part, and he's like, "I like to live in their skin, you know? I'm just being me." And I like to live in women's skin, too, but that's a different story. But Jordan Peele comes out, and he goes, he found another way to get the role he wanted or some bullshit. I'm sure you have his clip, right, Frank?
I sure do.
Okay, go ahead and gear that up. The point is, he gets a promotion. He gets the role he wanted. He gets to keep his girlfriend. He gets that body. He gets, I don't know if he got the money. Maybe. We don't find out.
I don't think he gets the money because I think he realized he doesn't need it. He can start making things work.
But we don't know. Yeah. So maybe he does. So
who ended up with the money anyway?
I'll throw it up. And then he
sure the psychic
has it.
ends up with the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
Keith is out of the scam artist tarot card reading business.
I like that ending better, where Keith gets the money and he's just like doing whatever the fuck. Who it could be $8,000. We don't know how much money it is.
Just retires in Boca Raton, you know.
Enough of your Florida bullshit, Adam. Okay.
And he meets a nice.
Boca Raton is not Florida. Damn it.
Boca Raton's Florida.
Yes, it is.
It's a shithole. Boca Raton, Florida. You know what that means? Rat's Mouth, Florida. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
People go there when they retire.
Shithole state.
Yeah.
Shithole city.
Florida. You mean?
Yeah.
Do you have something against Florida, Phoenix?
I do. I moved there for a couple months and I fucking hated it. Anyway, Frank, play his
like
outro.
Amount of time to come up with an opinion.
I moved to Miami and it rained. I was there 60 days. It rained like 57.
But like probably for only like a half hour every day?
All the time. And I moved there with my skateboard. I was all excited. I'm like, it's all warm. And I'm like, I never get to skateboard. It's constantly wet everywhere. And you know it's Florida.
Yeah, Florida sucks.
Yeah. You want to play this clip? We can stop ragging on Florida. Florida's had enough.
I mean,
play his fucking clip.
They got people in the news all the time.
Work. It's like you're really inhabiting these characters.
Thank you. I like to let the characters live inside my skin. I think of it like slipping on a bathrobe.
Well, I'd like you to audition for Steve, the lead role. Your performance truly moved me.
I was just being myself.
Harry Pine took a dangerous risk, one that cost him his body and his soul. But, in a way, he caught the big break he was waiting for. For better or worse, he'll have plenty of time to practice his performance. If you're looking for Harry Pine, you'll find him starring in the role of a lifetime on a show that will run forever. Here. In the Twilight Zone.
There you go. He really does a Rod impression. Yeah.
Yep. Can you imagine him not though? Like, I mean,
I think it started off with the cadence of Rod, which is fine. That's what he needs to
Sure.
do. But now it's turned into a full Rod impression.
I mean, he's pausing long like Rod would. I mean, the pauses are there. Even the way he looks.
I wish he had a vape in.
No, remember those candy cigarettes? Remember the candy cigarettes where you would puff and it'd be like, poof.
Yeah.
That's what he needs.
Well, I think him doing it like Rod is good. I think if he did it any other way, it wouldn't.
I think that's him giving in the show a little bit of not flair, but like
respect,
accuracy. He's going for Twilight Zone. He's not just there
Homage.
to be. Yeah. He kind of has to, but also I wish he would do like in Blurry Man. I really enjoy what they did there with him. I thought that was interesting. I've never seen that before. Rod did that one fucking time on his first on-screen appearance of the show in the last episode of season 1, A World of His Own. He shows up, has fun with it, and he's part of the story. But Blurry Man, he was fully in there and played like a dick version of himself. I don't know. I like that. That shit's fun. And it wasn't very Rod-like, and he did his own thing. I kind of wish he would do more of that, but I'm not going to complain too much. So let's wrap up, guys.
Ratings.
Oh, first before we do ratings, Greg did send us a message. Where is it?
Oh, Greg.
Oh, Muffin.
By the way, while he's looking for the Greg message, you can vote for this episode on www.raiderslostflix.com/LIW Studios. There are 2 scales for each episode. You can vote, and we'll rate them online.
There you go. Oh, what's this episode at?
Let's see where we're at. We are at.
This is the official.
Okay, we got 1 for 8, 1 for 9, and 1 for 10. Interesting.
So high. High.
Very high.
So Greg says, episode 3, season 2. Greg, do the season first. It's very confusing for me to look through this. Do the season first, then episode.
Stop yelling at our listener, Phoenix.
I'm letting him know how to make it easier for us to read. That's
what he's worried about, is making it easier for you. You fuck.
I know.
So
for real.
Nobody does episode first. It's
Quit your
weird.
bitching, old
It's like
man.
when you
Jesus
look at
Christ.
European dates and they have the date and then the month. You're like, anyway.
Listen,
So
this isn't things that'll burn in hell. This is
Craig really pissed him off, and from now on, and it's all Roman numerals.
I can read that, but so
Just
he wrote.
fucking we're just gonna make it fucking wingdings next time. Figure it out. Dude.
That's how you don't get your shit read. He says, bat symbol, fork. That's how I'd read it. So he wrote, this is the best episode in this 2019 reboot so far. This had the vibes of 4 of Us Are Dying in Salvador Ross with a detective thriller in it. Everything made sense in like episode 1, season 2. It kept you wondering what's going to happen. 9 out of 10 or A. I think he means A, and then it says add more of this. But there's a hyphen, so I don't know if that's A or A minus. I think that just means A,
Probably
and
A
then,
minus, yeah.
I think it's A and then hyphen also add more. Do more shows like this. 9 out of 10 would not be an A minus, but yeah, I agree, Greg. I was going to bring that up, but you brought it up here, so I thought I'd do it now. It's very 4 of Us Are Dying. That's the heavy impression I was getting during the episode, because in that one he can trade faces and bodies, and I thought that's where it was going to go. Like, and this has a completely different ending where he gets away with it, and his life is severely better because of the shitty things he's done.
Yeah,
and I like that.
I did not expect that. I thought he was
Exactly.
gonna be punished by the end. Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be the same fucking style of writing. It doesn't have to be this guy did this bad thing, therefore he deserves this. It doesn't all, like, sometimes, yeah. that works for certain stories. But this one, I was like, holy shit, he got away with it, and he's
I was
off to the
waiting for it.
races.
It's like, okay, he's gonna die in the cop's body. A safe is gonna fall on his head or some shit like that, and it didn't happen.
He walks in front of a bus like the character in our next episode.
Final Destination bullshit.
Yeah.
That was a plane.
It was a plane. It was trucks. It was a roller coaster. It was
shower.
It was lots.
He goes
of
on
things.
vacation in the exact same plane from Nightmare at 30,000 feet. Fucking crashes on his face. You know.
Wouldn't that be cool if you look in the background of 30,000 feet and you see Ethan Embry with that big beard? That'd be a cool little. I mean, it had to be the cop, I guess, but.
Because you've seen the plane, like the little model plane in episodes, like they practically stick it right in your face, like this is a callback. From an episode earlier in this.
Although,
and I mean, I would like. I mean, I don't think we properly introduced our guest, Ethan Embry, on the show tonight. You know, thank you for coming on, Ethan.
Bitch, are you?
Come on, Jansen looks just like with the beard, you know.
He's just got a beard. He's just a guy with a beard.
Jansen, if you could find a scarf, and just that'd be great.
I just realized that I was
soon.
You gotta stop muting yourself, man.
Listen, dude, I do it because I don't want you to hear the vape. I'm trying to be courteous, but Jesus Christ. Also, I look like him. Also, I'm balding like him. Also, I don't own a scarf because I'm a man.
And you don't own a scarf because you live in Phoenix.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or it's because you live in the desert. Maybe.
The only reason I own a scarf in this state is to hang myself with because it's still fucking hot. That would be the only reason.
Well, you did move to the bowels of hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
I gave the episode a 9. I was the one that voted 9 in there. What about you guys?
I gave it a 10. I feel like this one earned it, and it almost makes you mad because it's like, people can write good stuff even today in today's time. So often do they choose not to. Like it's like they sacrifice the writing for the message. You can have both. This is proof.
Yep.
I wish, because exactly what you just said, Adam. You realize how good they could write. So when you watch episodes like 8, I just want to. It made me laugh so fucking hard.
Patience, Phoenix. We'll get there.
It's not till next week. I can't wait.
We'll get there. That might almost have to be a whole episode by itself.
Yeah, Jansen rating out of 10.
I gave it an 8 on there. I was going between 8 and 9. I landed at 8. I think that it had all the right stuff. There was definitely some polish that could have been applied in areas, but I think it was a solid episode.
Frank?
I definitely gave it a 9.176.
Fucking fuck.
Why? I knew that was going to happen.
No, definitely a solid 9. Solid 9.
I'm actually debating giving it a 10. I'm on the fence.
I mean, a 10 is a coveted number. I don't think I've ever given anything but a 10 except for Shadowplay.
No, I give episodes where I'm like, that was great. TV show episodes are a bit different than movies. Movies, like a 10 has got to be like one of my favorite movies, but episodes of TV show a little bit different.
Yeah,
they're skewed up a couple stars. Like our next episode.
You know, like if season 1 and season 2 were just like this and as good, it probably wouldn't be as high. But because we've been just swimming through so much shit to get here, dry land feels so good right now.
Yes, maybe that's why I wasn't as heavily impacted by Nightmare at 30,000 feet, because I saw this first and then saw that. I'm like, well, that's okay, but not nearly as good as this. I want more of this. You know, and there was not hardly any of that in season 1. So
season 1 is 4 good episodes.
2 for me.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, like I just want to say, like so far, the episode where I guess was it the first episode? Yeah, episode 1. Episode 1, season 2, and episode 3, season 2. The new one. You see, Phoenix, But yeah, so far like those two have been like very, very Twilight Zone-ish. You know what I mean? Like it's like, see, I knew he could do it.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I had to do it too. I'm sorry.
Saying the episode first makes me go episode 2. Okay, great. I have no idea where we're at. Oh, season 4. Now I can like.
I know.
I'm already behind on where we're at. Now I have to remember the first number.
You know what my wife? You know what I do when my wife starts whining like you do? I go, "When I'm Kelly, I'm a little baby. That's what I'm gonna start doing to you. When I'm Phoenix, I'm a little baby.
That's fine. Do what you gotta do.
When.
Wee. Grammar police is just pulled up.
You don't talk about
Got him.
Is he gonna talk about grammar police like his comment on my YouTube page that made no fucking sense and he had no backup for it?
I don't remember what I said.
Exactly.
It was nonsense.
What do you mean on your YouTube page?
I sent it in the chat earlier. I was like, "What the fuck does this mean?" You're like, "I don't even know." I'm like, "Cool, thanks, man." Anyway,
what? Like what I said in the DM, or did I post
on
something?
YouTube? I already said it.
I didn't know what you're talking about because I wrote a whole long paragraph. Like I wrote a novel, and then you're like, "Yeah," and I don't know what part you're talking about.
Anyway, let's not talk about our personal chat anymore. let's get out of here because unfortunately, next time on the show we have to talk about Ovation. But let's do our plugs first. Let's here we go.
Plug time. Jensen wishes to plug, apparently, reddragonsradio.com. Adam wishes to plug, raidersofTheLostFlix.com and on YouTube for movie reviews and pop culture discussions. Frank wishes to get plugged in a Holiday Inn for hours and hours. Oh, and also in the Sports Car Podcast, Way Off Topic Radio Podcast. Phoenix wishes to plug, LIWstudios.com for all of our videos and podcasts from Loitering in Wonderland. Send us your 2019 Twilight Zone Season 2 thoughts in writing or audio to loiteringinwonderland@gmail.com. Or tweet us at LIW The TZ Review. We will read and or play them on the podcast next time. Until next time, and in the meantime, I am Phoenix West. Joined by Frank Links, Adam Wilcox, and Jansen Carlin. So long, citizens. Shut off the fucking podcast now.
All right, we're out.
Cool. Break time.
10-minute break.